As you can see, no cement back in the 10th, 12th, 13th century, so this is sand and mortar, water, horsehair, all sorts of things thrown in there to make that dome. If you have a look at this side in particular, you'll see the stones along the top. That's what we call the keystone, so that's what sort of hold everything together. Now I've got two different stones here in my hand. One's tufa stone, which is what the roof is made, the curve is made of, and that's quite light. If you like to handle that and pass it down, that's sort of a calcium carbonate thing. That originally would have come from the River Wye and be transported down here. Now we can't get any more of that, so if you want to get any tufa stone, you've got to import it from Italy. They're still using it, but it's got to come from Italy. Now this is the main part of the cathedral. Again, this was local stone, quarried down the river at Fownhope, about 5 miles away, and obviously brought up with barges to the cathedral. We can't get any more of that, and that is in fact Derbyshire gritstone. That's the closest we can get to the original, so that, as I say, comes all the way from Derbyshire now. Okay, yes, somebody's looking at the oak here. This oak would be mainly oak. There's a little bit of elm, but mainly oak, and this would be Hereford oak. Some of it would be the same age as the ceiling, 12th, 13th century. But the major thing that happened here in Hereford Cathedral used to have two towers, the central tower which were going up, and also the West Tower. And on Easter Monday, 1786, the West Tower fell down. It was crumbling before, but on that Easter Monday, it collapsed and fell down. And when it was when the cathedral was then put back, they didn't put back the West Tower. So the west side of the cathedral is now 2 bays shorter than what it originally was. I'm saying all that because of history is one thing, but at that time, I think the cathedral was in quite a sorry state. And if they weren't careful, everything was going to fall down. So at that time, there was be a spire on the main tower. They took that one down to protect that one, else we wouldn't have had a central tower. And they lowered all these roofs. So some of this wood would be original, but some would have been dated from the sort of the 1786. So some would be 300 or 400 years old. Some might be considerably older than that. The roof and the lead above that is relatively new. That would have been sort of in the last 50 years. Quite solid walking across the top here, but in those valleys, not so walkable. The surveyors will come up here a couple of times a year. They're quite happy to walk across there, but not in the valleys. In fact, we took around a school party once, and the lad threw his cap down there, and it stayed there for ages and ages, and nobody would get it. But finally, they got it with a fishing net on it, so because nobody wanted to actually get down there to fish it out, if you like. The other thing to note is these holes in the walls. There's one behind John there. Those would be used, and one up here. Those would be used for scaffolding. Not scaffolding as we know, but it would have been, some of these beams would have been used for the scaffolding, and then as they got building up, so that they would take those scaffolding and put them back in place. All this would have been put together originally down below, and then taken apart to brought up here, and I would imagine it would be ropes, pulleys and ropes which would have lifted it up here, not cranes as we got now. Nice mortise and tenon joints, you can see particularly there. No nails. You'll see wood. If you see nails, that's obviously modern. Most of it would be the wooden pegs here to hold the oak together.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to walk across the top here.